What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of the traits that college coaches look for in wide receivers. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to get over 100 plus wide receiver route running drills that you could do this offseason to improve your skills, check out that very first link in the description below for our 28-day on-field wide receiver workout plan. What you'll get access to, 100 plus drills with sets, reps, broken down into a daily schedule for 4 weeks. So check out that very first link below if you're interested, fellas. Let's get started with this video. So now, first thing that we need to look for, what a college coach will want in a wide receiver is a wide receiver who can run efficient routes and has a high football IQ and doesn't try to do too much. Now, I'm sure all of you've seen, the one-on-one destroying videos. Everybody loves to post those highlights, and it's all for hype, and I get it, and they're entertaining videos, but it's sometimes not the most realistic thing. Everybody at that place knows what it's about. They're trying to go viral. They'll try to run a viral route, but that's sometimes not the most game realistic thing. What a college coach wants, what he wants to see from you on film, is a game realistic in a route that's going to keep timing with your QB. So this specific play concept here from Clemson, this point man here, this is kind of like an inverted smash concept. This is like an inside stem corner route and then a flat route from the slot. So ideally what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this corner to crash on the flat. We're taking this inside stem so when this corner crashes down, we're open over the top, maybe in front of a safety, or maybe this linebacker's in man coverage and the quarterback has an easy throw. What they do is they kind of treat it like a man coverage look where this linebacker or nickel runs with this flat and then he's one-on-one with the corner working this move. Now, I want you to see what he does here. He doesn't do the tempo change. He doesn't do, the hip karaoke in the middle of the route. He keeps his route simple and he keeps his route efficient. What gets him open at the top of the break is his speed. He's selling vertical. He's running hard. And then he throws a rocker step move to the inside. He gives this head and shoulder fake. He steps to the inside, gets that DB to bite, but he's still able to maintain timing with the quarterback, spacing on the play, and he's able to get separation. Fellas, you have to know when to do those fancier moves and when not to do those fancier moves. Like if he's running, maybe like a fade route, right? Like let's come back to the top. Like let's say he's kicked out wide and he's got to run a fade. Maybe he bursts up, changes tempo, then accelerates. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe if the quarterback's sprinting out and we're running a comeback, we burst up, tempo change, and then we break on the comeback, fine. But when it's a situation on a read like this, on timing plays, where the quarterback is reading one defender and he's expecting us to be at a certain spot, we have to run an efficient route. And that's what a college coach wants to see. No college coach is going to be impressed by a guy who does 50 different things on a route and then the quarterback sacked or moves on. QBs need you to get to space. They need you to get to a certain spot on the field. And what we can do is find a way to do that efficiently and still get separation, like using this rocker step. So let's play this thing full speed, and then we will get to the next example of what college coaches look for in a certain trait in wide receivers. So the next thing I want to discuss is blocking. So if you cannot block, if you're that guy who's, we get these questions all the time, and it's a valid question. Hey, coach, I go to this small school, hey, coach, I go to a school that's a run-dominant school. We don't have a good quarterback. We're running the ball 80% of the time. And that's a real thing in high school. It happens all over the country. What can I do? Can I still play college football? Can I still get recruited? Yes, 100%. College coaches are looking for playmakers and explosive athletes. Every single snap when you're out wide, the great part about playing receiver is a chance to make a highlight because you're blocking. If you have to block the corner, why not try to make the best block every single snap so you could get some plays on film? Because a college coach is only going to watch 1 to 2 minutes of your film. And if he's impressed with that first minute to 2 minutes, knows you can block, knows you're explosive, you don't need 50 touchdowns on the year. You just need maybe about 10 to 15 plays that show you're a college football player. So let's look at this example here. Everybody struggles with this, right? They come off the ball, DB's off. How do I block? What can I do? What's the mechanics behind blocking? So when it comes to blocking a DB, when you go at him, you have to make sure we're under control. You see how this wide receiver is not running as hard as he can. He's not getting off the ball running a 40-yard dash. He's fairly under control because if that DB were to make a quick move and try to cut inside or try to cut outside, we approach him under control so I can react to that move. Now, when he gets hands on him, you see how he's in a very low explosive position. Low man is going to win. And this wide receiver is not very short either. He's probably bigger than this DB, but he still gets low. So 2 things. We have to be under control and we have to get low and be in a good pad level position. Now, after I do those two things, when I get hands on a DB, a lot of guys get embarrassed when it comes to blocking in terms of wide receivers because they'll get hands on this guy and they stop their feet. And they, maybe they're looking back for the running back or maybe they're stopping themselves. All it takes is this DB one quick shed and he'll make a move and be able to go stop the run because we stop my feet. We can never stop my feet when I'm blocking. You need to keep your feet active and you need to stay low in a good pad level position. Because when you can keep your feet active and you get low, you start driving from your hips, you start driving from your legs. That is going to help you tremendously with your blocks and actually give you a chance to make highlights like this. This is a play that you would put on the first 5 plays of your highlight tape because it shows you can block, which means that you're a team guy. It's not all about me, and you're an explosive player. Fellas, you got to understand that blocking, if you're going to an offense in college that's 60% pass, 40% run, but you don't block, that's 40% that you're taking yourself out of the play. And a coach does not want to see that. He wants to see in every snap, 3-down wide receiver. That's what he wants to see. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by this wide receiver approaching, being under control, keeping those feet active, getting low to make that block. Okay, so now, next thing I want to talk about, a trait that college coaches look for in wide receivers. Like we said in the beginning, football IQ, but knowing how to run routes with the correct spacing. There is nothing worse, fellas. I'm going to tell you this right now. We do camps all over the country and we see a lot. We do one-on-ones at every camp, right? And we see so many times wide receivers will run routes and they'll line up here, right? They'll line up close to the hash and this wide receiver is running a dig. And what they'll do is they'll take off and they'll end up catching this ball on like the opposite hash of the field. It's the most unrealistic thing you can do. So when it comes to a college coach looking at you, and everybody loves to talk about, you need to get out to as many camps as possible because you get in front of college coaches, and that's great. You should go to camps. But when you're in front of a coach, he does not want to see you run that type of route because he's going to look away and he does not care. As soon as that route is unrealistic, that holds absolutely no weight to him. He wants to see realistic routes. He wants to see that on film. He wants to see it at camps. He wants to see it from you all the time. It's realistic. So let's watch this full speed. So you can't tell. You can kind of see his foot right here. This DB's inside shade, and he's running a dig. So let's talk about it. He goes here, gives a move inside, takes the outside release on a dig. He doesn't force it, so he can keep spacing on a play. Fellas, you got to run routes how they're drawn up on paper pretty much. So let's say, for example, the play is like the outside receiver's running a deep post. You're the inside guy, you're running a dig. And then let's say the slot on the other side is running like a drag, right? So if you got a DB who's inside shade press, but you go to attack him and you go way inside and then push up vertical. When you run way inside like that, number one, you're running into the drag. You're bringing defenders into each other. You're allowing you're allowing one defender to cover 2 routes because you screwed up the spacing. It's not a realistic route. So what this wide receiver does is he comes off the ball, he's patient, he gives a move to the inside. I would like a faster release personally if I'm running a dig, but to each his own. It's one-on-ones, but whatever. Probably could have been a little bit faster. But when he takes that outside release, you see, this is exactly how it's drawn up on paper. When you draw this up on paper, he takes a vertical stem, breaks to the inside. That's what a college coach wants to see. He does not want to see the extra stuff, the way inside stem. He wants to see you attack, and then let's work to restack and give a move. Now, some of you might be asking, well, coach, what if I do this? What if he's inside shade? I attack him. I take the outside, but I can't restack, right? This wide receiver make it look easy because he was able to restack. What do you think you do at the top? If you're familiar with these videos, you should know. If this DB's not here and he's maybe 2 steps ahead, take that right arm, put it on the back of his shoulder, back of his hip, and throw by and slip underneath him. It's all about reaction. It's all about knowing what to do at the top of the route. Fellas, I put more emphasis on the top of the route than I would off the line, as off the line is honestly quite simple. Take what the DB gives you and threaten his leverage. Whenever it's press coverage is not difficult and not hard to beat. You just have to know what to do and know how to run efficient routes. And route running is what a college coach is looking for nowadays because the offenses are getting so switched into that one-on-one air raid opportunities. So let's play this thing full speed one more time, and then we're going to talk about the last trait that wide receivers need to be noticed by a college coach. So the last thing I want to talk about is how your feet set up your hands. There's probably a million videos on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever, about wide receiver hand technique, and it's a lot of old school stuff. It's a guy in the videos, almost black and white, where he's talking about, okay, you got to swat, rip the shoulder, you got to chop your opposite arm. But what they don't talk about is how your feet set up the hand technique for the off the line, right? So everybody loves to talk about the hand drills, but how do the feet coincide with the hand work off the line? And that's what we're discussing now. So let's play this full speed. So this wide receiver doesn't look like he does much. He just swats the DB's hands off because he set him up with his feet. So let's talk about this. When we got here, let's say DB's a little bit shaded to the inside. And we know pre-snap, obviously he's running a stop route. This would apply the same exact way if you were running a dig, if you were running a post, if you were running a comeback. Every route, because it's press coverage, right? Press coverage, you have to take what the DB gives us. So what should be my mindset here off the line? Obviously, attack his leverage, right? He's inside shade. I want to threaten his leverage to the inside. I want to try to get him to move. Now, if I'm taking an outside release, which hand of the DB do I have to beat? I have to beat his outside hand. That's the only hand that you have to worry about. Same thing if you were trying to take an inside release. The only hand you'd have to beat is his inside hand. Because when it comes to a DB, his whole purpose in press, his whole purpose of jamming you is to screw up the timing with the quarterback. So if he gets hands on you that screws up timing, he did his job. That's the whole reason he's pressed. So if we can beat that hand technique, so what if he recovers and gets hands on me with his left arm? I don't care. I got off the press. I kept timing. My separation comes at the top of the route. I keep timing and spacing with my release. So this wide receiver gives a move inside, but you see, if that can get that DB to bite and he shoots that outside hand, that's simple, man. All you need to do is just chop it. All you need to do is just give one quick swat, and now he's got no hands on us. And even if he does recover with this left one, let's say he was a little bit closer, maybe didn't bite as much, so what? He's got hands on me, but that doesn't mean I got jammed. That doesn't mean I lost timing. I actually have a chance now to get separation and get open for my quarterback because I kept it simple. So fellas, college coaches want to see this from you. They want to see guys who can get off a press. They want to see guys who can beat a jam and run an efficient and quick route that times up with the play. And if you don't know how to do your hand technique on this, you will not know how to run an efficient route. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by this wide receiver setting up this DB with his feet and then winning with those hands at the top of the route. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. You guys have any questions on anything we discussed, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. I'll see you guys next time.